Hi. Hi, hi, hi,
Hi. I
hi.
don't know what
Hi.
it is, but as soon as this comes on every time, like we'll be
You yawn?
chatting. I yawn as soon
Oh,
as you hit record. I don't understand.
oh, because you're like,
Now
wow,
I just
here we
passed it to
go.
you
Yes, you did pass it to me. I watched it and I was like, shit,
through the
it's gonna
screen.
happen. Yep, it's gonna happen.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness.
So today on Real Moms Spill the Tea After Dark, dun dun dun.
No, we're
uh
we're recording and it's daylight. Don't pay
yeah, it's
attention to
not
that.
really after dark. This is like the secret stuff that we like to obsess about.
Yes.
Murder.
Yeah.
Murder.
Murder,
Um
scams, fraud.
So speaking of scams, let's talk about Scamanda and episode 2.
Oh yeah, let's do an update of that first.
Yes, because we have a new episode coming out tonight. I'm so pumped. If this
Yes, I
kid
have to
does
wait till
not take a
tomorrow.
nap, this kid does not take a nap, I am literally going to wake her up, get her up out of bed.
She's
She
gonna
going to
have to
bed.
watch Scamanda with you tonight.
Nope, she going to bed at 6. Daddy has a class, mommy's putting her to bed, and I will have at least an hour and a half before the new episode comes out. But
Hey, that worked.
look at this girl.
Oh, she's just getting comfier.
She drama.
She's she's like, I was getting more snuggled.
She's
Those that can't see, her dog's just a snuggly little baby.
yeah, she's Kenzie's
I just
underneath
love her.
her fort of blankets that
That
Braden
is
put over
totally Inky.
her.
See,
Yeah,
she wanted her face covered, Mom.
she always does. She always buries her face, even when I'm sleeping.
It's precious.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
cute.
Kinsey, quit distracting us.
Yeah. What do you think is about you? What do you think is about you? Stop it, mom. Um, okay, so Scamanda, instantly when the next episode came on and I saw the ex-wife, and then hearing her story about her daughter having cancer.
I immediately knew that that bitch Amanda
Yes.
was in some fucking way jealous of a child, a sick child,
Oh, I didn't
and
think
needed
that.
that attention.
I didn't think that.
I I immediately thought she was jealous of the attention that the sickness got that child. And
Maybe.
she was like, "Oh, you know what? I don't think that she originally planned for it to go on as long as she did and for it to be as big. I think it was more so a manipulation thing for her own husband and like
Maybe.
or you know what I mean? Like
So
her own family.
let's do a rundown for people that are just listening to us ramble.
Yeah.
Scamanda is a show on Hulu that we've been watching. It gets released once a week. We're actually super involved. It's
Yeah.
actually it's
We
actually
never watch
crazy.
things in real time,
No,
so
so we're super dedicated to this
we're
right now.
impatient.
So there was a couple. I can't. What was her name?
Oh, you're asking me, and I
I
only
know
know
his. I
Amanda's
know.
name because it's in the title.
Yeah, I know her husband's name is Cory. So there was Cory, and then his first wife,
Yes.
Alita, Alita, Alada, Alada. I don't know. I'm gonna look that up. Um, while that's happening, they got married, and the mom, Alada, Alita, whatever her name is, really, um, her she had a child previously from a different
Yeah, so
relationship
Corey's
situation.
stepdaughter.
Yes. And then they had a child. Uh, why am I drawing a
I
blank?
watched this last week too, so I'm really bad about the names.
Shit. Um,
Which
oh my God,
I'm
this is
trying,
gonna drive me crazy. I'm looking it up. Give me it. Okay, so we want.
but the wife, it was the wife's daughter on her own, right? That had
Yes,
cancer.
that had
Yes.
leukemia at a young age. So she had to
Yes.
go through chemo and
Like
everything
really
like
young.
that. Yeah. And he was a
Yeah.
stepfather being supported of those two and his child that the mom was growing. Um, so when Cory, oh my God, I'm trying to find her name and it's driving me actually. There it is. Her name.
I was like, I've been looking and I just need a list. And like,
Alita. It's
you know,
Alita,
in movies, you type in like character,
right? Yeah, it's Alita. Her name is Alita. Oh
like,
God. Okay, so then they had
okay,
a daughter. Cory and her had a daughter. So because she was so sick, she couldn't really be exposed to anything. She had autoimmune, so she didn't go to school. So they hired um a dance teacher, Amanda, to come over and hang out with
yeah.
the kids and teach her all of these
Which
things.
that was who brought that other lady in the interviews.
Yes, it's
She's
Alita's
the one that
sister.
brought her in.
Alita's
Yes,
sister brought her
yes,
into this situation. Okay. So then there's Cory and Alita, and then Alita's daughter, and then Cory and Alita's daughter. And then they hire Amanda to come hang out, basically.
yes.
Then all of a sudden, there's some problems in the situation in the marriage, blah, blah, blah. They separate, and then Amanda spending time over at Cory's house only. And then they got together and got married.
But
And
it
she
I
was,
did find it weird that it took them a while to get together. Whether it was sneaky behind people's backs, but Alita had said, wasn't it like a year or two?
yeah, like all
That
of a sudden, a year
yeah,
or two later, they were in a relationship and then they're getting married.
yeah.
And then she has two other kids. Remember, her chemo, her pregnancy reversed her cancer.
Yeah.
So all of these stories that Cory went through with Alita and that Amanda went through to help Alita and Cory, they
That's the thing is
used
Amanda knew this
she
child and the
right,
family when this child was going through this shit. It wasn't
right.
like she heard stories, like she lived part of it with them.
Yeah,
Like
and so the other
in a
daughter,
mild way.
Alita's oldest daughter, she was like, I had cancer, so I felt for her when she was going through that. I felt, but then
Even
she's like, as
Alita, even
yes, they felt
she felt bad.
awful. They felt awful because
Yeah.
they went through it. They were actually
Yeah.
like, oh my God, how can we help? Type of situation. And
That's
then
what makes this story even more sick, in my
yeah,
opinion.
it's very icky. It is because you know that everything that she's saying, she either heard, and I want to know how far Cory is involved. Like he knows that she's fucking full of shit. He
Yeah,
knows
there's
it.
no way, like, because the daughter that had cancer, she made a very valid point. Even with her head shaved and everything, Amanda never looked sick.
Looked
If
sick,
you look
never.
at the
Mhm.
photos,
I
she's
look sick
plump.
today, you know?
No,
I'm
but
just
she's
kidding.
plump. She
Yeah.
looks alive.
Uh-huh. Her eyes
And
don't
that's not
have
me calling
like
her fat. Like her face
no,
is,
yeah. Yeah.
you know,
She has
like her
collagen.
cheeks weren't sunken
Yeah.
in. Like,
Yeah. She had collagen. She
yeah.
had like there was no puffiness, there was no dark circles, no hollowed out,
She
nothing.
wasn't super
She
pale.
cut her
Like,
hair.
I feel like we've all seen people with cancer. Like,
Yes.
we
And it's
know that it makes them look like they're the Walking Dead
dying. Yes.
almost, like they are
Yes.
dying.
Yes. So
So
anyways, we
for
need to see what
all,
happens.
yeah, I am too antsy. Like, I'm annoyed that I have to wait till tomorrow. Like, it
I'm
comes out
sorry.
tonight, but I have to wait
Uh,
for it to be onto Hulu
I only
because
have
I
it
don't have
because
live.
I have
You have real
or
TV.
I no, I have YouTube TV. Thank you to my mother-in-law.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
that would work.
that's the only reason why we even have it. And or I'd be waiting just as much as you, but I'm telling you what, just even hearing all that crazy like the
I just,
sister-in-law talking and then the mom talking and
the
painting her out to be this
sister-in-law,
horrible person too. Like she just awful.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's so
terrible.
crazy. Like
Like
who
Alita, like Alita had to fight for custody of her own freaking child because Amanda, you know damn well
they
that
fabricated.
Amanda
Yeah.
was, you know what I mean, like pushing.
Well, probably, but the bigger thing is she went from a dance teacher to a stepmom. There's a huge age gap. And then on top of it, they're literally, they can't afford for Cory and Alita's daughter to go back and forth between the houses because that's how she's going to get information. It
Oh yeah.
whether it's deliberate or not, kids you ask kids questions. How was your week? Did you have fun with daddy? Blah 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 blah. I asked that
Yeah.
when my child's with her dad for 3 hours. Did you have so much
Yeah.
fun? What did you guys do? It's just basic things that you ask your child to be involved in their day when they're not with you. Those are just like common things. Just like how you and
Yep.
I say, what'd you do today?
Yeah.
Or last night was rough. Or my child woke up at 5 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Like
do
just
think that
it's just a
Amanda was thinking very precisely about the information that would be spilt out, in my
I
opinion.
love that you're only blaming Amanda, but I
Oh
know.
no, the dad too.
Okay.
The dad too. No, no.
Obviously she's Scamanda, so it's obviously about her, but
Yeah. No,
but
Cory as well. Like
yeah,
Cory to me is like, how fucking dare you? Like you
yeah.
know Alita.
Yeah.
Like how are you doing this to your child's mother?
They
How are you
took
doing
the
this to your
child from
child?
her.
Like your
Yeah, and
child
her other
needs,
sister.
yeah,
Like
it's
that's not
terrible.
okay.
No, I'm focusing on Amanda just because I know that she's malicious in her ways. We just
And
don't
it's
know
called
much about Cory.
Scamanda. It's not called Skagori, it's called
Exactly.
Scamanda.
Although he had to have known something because you
Oh
just don't
gosh.
live with someone and not know. I mean, come the fuck on.
How
You just don't.
how? Like
No.
how did you go through all those sleepless worry nights? Like legitimately with your stepdaughter. And
Yeah. I do think though that a lot of times people like, families of serial killers and shit, they say like they often look back and they're like,
right.
like we should have seen that. But like you have your blinders on,
You have your blinders on and they're not always put in a row. You
No,
know,
not at all. Yeah.
it's not like ducks just standing there and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yep, you're a duck. No, it's
Yeah.
like this is sneaky as fuck.
Yeah.
Animal went missing. Blah 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 blah.
Right.
Somehow something tragic happened. We don't know how. I mean, that's how that plays out, and that's
Yeah.
totally normal. But let's go back to so we'll let you know what happens next week for the Scamanda
Yeah. I really next week I'm hoping that they tell us
more.
how she pulled it off, especially with doctor. Like she has pictures
I know,
hooked
so
up to an
crazy.
IV and shit.
I'm
So
yeah, I'm
anyway,
very invested in this story.
yeah, same.
Okay, so there Netflix did a new documentary on the cold case. What's it called? Something Joe.
JonBenét.
Yeah, it was about
I
Joe.
forgot the actual title. Something murder or no, I'm thinking of the Gabby Petito title.
Yes.
I thought you wanted
Um,
outside. Come on. Oh my goodness.
Cold case. Who killed JonBenét Ramsey? That's what it's
Yes.
called. There is
3 episodes.
3 episodes. Yes, very good. Let me tell you, I've watched almost every single thing I could possibly find on JonBenét. Was an obsession of mine. I lived in California. I knew we were moving to Colorado, and that was the big story of the time. OJ and JonBenét. That's what I was dealing with. Brittany was 3, so she has no
Yeah.
idea what happened. I loved everything about loved. I love mysteries as it is. I love to whatever.
Yeah.
Um, but I have read, watched, listened to a lot of things about JonBenét. And let me tell you something. I think it was the first episode that they said that they did DNA testing on the family. Is that correct, Brittany?
Yeah.
You watched it recently more than
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, it was the
So,
first episode.
yeah.
And throughout, honestly, every episode the dad was like they took our
Yes.
DNA.
Yes. This was the first time that someone else from that side was like, they took DNA testing of Patsy, John, and Burke, and they were all ruled out within 3 weeks of her murder. And
Yes.
all anybody ever knows about JonBenét Ramsey is that her family did it. They covered it up because of the media. The media spilled that out because the cops were feeding them nonsense.
I was like, well, the cops were feeding them. Yeah,
Yes.
the nonsense.
Yes. It's not the media that did this. It was the cops
Right.
that lied and were trying to smoke them out to confessing. And anybody that watches any murder, I don't care who you are, if I am questioned in an interrogation room or anything about anything, I'm going to have a lawyer. If you don't have a lawyer, that's not smart.
Um, yeah, I mean, True Crime Junkies 101,
Get a lawyer.
you get a
Don't answer
lawyer even
anything.
if it makes you look suspicious. I
Who
don't give
gives
a
a fuck?
shit.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what?
that's how they get
Suspicious.
false confessions out of you is not having a fucking lawyer.
Exactly. And they know
I'm not
how
on top.
to manipulate the way you're saying things. So if you're
And
getting
your
all
yeah,
jumbled in, yeah, if you're getting all
body
jumbled in your
language.
head and you don't know how well, yeah, I was there, but I told you I left. Well, you didn't
Right.
come back.
And if you get your
No. Well,
times mixed up.
why'd you think about it? Well, because you just asked me if I came back to a situation that I already told you I left. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, they want you to look fucking stupid. So get yourself a lawyer. And what John and Patsy Ramsey did was just talk to their lawyer. They said, we're not going down there. You can come to us.
Yep. And I think a media person did say,
There's
like,
nothing wrong with that.
the lawyer is who is not allowing them to talk to
Yeah.
us. Like,
You're trying to pin a murder on somebody. You're literally telling everybody that you know that they did it.
I mean, so desperate to where, okay, you couldn't come up with a rational reasoning or evidence of the parents doing it, either or.
No,
So then we're just gonna spit out that the brother did it.
right.
Like what?
Anybody.
How
Anybody. They
low?
literally spit out every Patsy's sitting there going, I just went through chemo. I literally just beat it. And now I'm gonna murder my child?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what do you mean? I was on my deathbed. I
Yeah.
I'm grateful
And
to
that's
be
what
alive.
John was saying. Like she
Yeah,
is excited about life. What do you mean? She just wants to live out the rest of her days. Like,
right. With her
uh,
children. Yeah, it's absolutely sickening. And then on
and
top of it, that they never even searched the fucking house. They did what they were supposed to do. They reacted to a letter that they saw. They called the police. The police showed up. They never searched. They never did anything. And
the
then
fact that the
when the
police
late
admitted to sending John to
he
search around the house and their
suspicious, he
excuse was the
looks
house was
suspicious.
big.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge house.
But that's not an excuse for the fucking
No,
police to be like, yes, search your own
no.
house.
They
What?
so this is what happened. They never searched the house. They never even looked for her. They
Yeah.
decided to leave one officer there in case there was a ransom demand, a phone call.
Yeah.
And when he was trying to keep himself busy, you got mad at him because he was looking through mail, trying to find any sort of
Yeah.
situation or any sort of anything to help the situation.
Yeah.
And then
Because
you're like, well, go look around and see if anything's missing. And then he comes up with the kid, and you're mad at that too. Like, he did it. What do you mean?
yeah. Yeah, they were like, well, he went straight down to the basement and like immediately
He
went to
was
her and
upstairs. What do you want him to do?
he was like, when you're searching the house, like I thought like a normal thing is to first go to the basement. And I was
I
thinking,
would 100%.
honestly,
Yeah,
if my
I would do
child's
that
not
too.
in his room,
Yes.
and if we
Where
had
else
a
is he going to
basement
be?
like that, like, yeah.
Absolutely. Start from the bottom to the top.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna just rummage through random fucking rooms. Like, you're gonna start
No.
somewhere.
You already
Like,
did that though. You already did that. She wasn't in her bed. She wasn't in Burke's room. She wasn't in their room. They already did upstairs. They
yeah,
searched everywhere upstairs
yeah,
after she made the phone call. Like, what else do you want from them? They literally did what
yeah.
normal parents and normal people in a panic situation would do. And then they're so worked up
And
about the
that's what's
pineapple being in
terrifying.
her tummy. What? That's what's yeah, no, totally. That's
Oh,
exactly
what's
what's
scary
terrifying.
is that
Yeah.
they like this literally could happen to anyone. Imagine like that
Yeah.
whole family's life, literally their entire life has been ruined for the
Yeah.
rest of their life
Because they think
because,
that they did something and it's false. False. They did not
yeah.
do anything. They knew
I
they
mean,
did not do
Patsy
anything.
died of cancer, still being accused of murdering her freaking child. Like, how,
So sad.
oh, just a dagger to the heart. It makes me so sad for her. And it makes me sad for John. Like, John honestly seemed relieved for Patsy that she had passed away. Like, she's,
Yeah, she didn't have to hear it anymore. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
and she doesn't
Absolutely.
have the burden of
And
her
they said
child. Like,
and they said that when they went to church, so this all happened December 26th, 1996, okay? Um, day after Christmas, blah 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 blah, right? They were supposed to meet up with John's other kids from his first marriage, who all stand behind Patsy and John. And that's the bigger thing. Like you have to look at that. You have
yes,
to look at that.
like their whole
Everybody
family. Yeah,
is like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? There's
yeah,
no way.
yeah. Well, they
No way.
focused on putting the girl in pageants, and it's like that doesn't mean
That made her
that
a bad
doesn't mean that.
person for her to want
Yeah.
to. I'm sorry, but if I put Victoria in pageants and she did not want to do it, there's no fucking way my baby would do it. There's just no way. She would fight me
No,
anytime. I could bribe her if I wanted to, but at the end,
you
it's
can
what
only bribe
she
a
wanted to
toddler
do. Yeah,
and a
a
kid for
6 year
so
old.
long. I mean,
Exactly. And I mean, that is dedication. She is having outfits done. She's getting her hair done. She's going through classes. She's doing all these things that she wants to do, or she wouldn't do them. There's
yeah,
just, I'm sorry. There's no way you can convince me that a 6 year old that doesn't want to do something is going to do it.
yeah. I don't have a
I,
6-year-old, but I highly doubt.
how is it when you try to force your 3 year old to do something?
Oh no, exactly.
Exactly. No,
There's no doing it.
there's
I mean,
no doing it. It's very
no.
hard. There's lots of tears, and most of it is coming from the parents.
Yes. But anyway,
There's just no way. But my whole life until I saw that documentary, I knew that there was something missing. I didn't know that they had DNA evidence and that it ruled them out as quickly as they did.
yes,
And I
because
asked my
those that
husband,
don't know, there was a foreign substance of DNA on JonBenét's underwear, inside
Mhm.
of JonBenét's underwear,
Yep.
that did not match anybody in that house.
Uh-oh.
So that right there, like they went so far as to contact a the freaking company. Wasn't this company in like a different
Yeah.
country
Yeah. They went
to
through a whole bunch
see
of
if
things.
they could, you know, tie that to because it wasn't semen and it wasn't blood. In my head, I'm assuming it was
I think
spit.
I think it was spit too.
Yeah. So they were trying to see if they could put blame on an innocent way of DNA from like a worker from the factory. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but there's
No.
zero reasoning for an innocent explanation for foreign DNA to be inside of a little girl's underwear,
Well,
especially
they
after it's
botched
been
the
washed.
whole they botched the whole fucking
They
thing.
botched the entire thing.
Yeah. Like,
At first, I really do think that obviously they were inexperienced cops.
oh,
They weren't
totally.
experienced with murder, which I get, but that's not an excuse. I'm not experienced with murder, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I could have conducted that way better, I feel like. But they literally were treating it at first as a kidnapping. And so they didn't search the house at first, which is
Correct.
silly in my head because even as a kidnapping, someone had to have entered the fucking home or John
Yeah.
Bonet had to exit the home in order to
Someone,
be kidnapped.
yeah, something
So the
happened.
house should have been searched anyway. Like,
Exactly.
so right away, they should have gotten rid of all of their family and friends that were already there. The one
Mhm.
cop had said, you know, they didn't have their daughter. I didn't want to strip them of their support system. And I'm like, I get that. I get the empathy side of that, the empathetic side of that.
I think people just
This
don't know
is
what to
a
do when there's a
investigation
crisis. Yeah.
of a
People don't,
6-year-old who is missing and there's a ransom note.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Hello?
Yeah.
Like,
That's the thing.
what?
No one took it fucking seriously.
It's wild.
It's so wild.
But
Like
I
they
think the wildest
absolutely,
thing that I saw on that, because the whole thing, the whole time, I've always thought or assumed someone had gone in, like a normal robbery, kidnapping,
yeah.
anything, like
Yeah.
they entered the home to do it. But this man was in the house. He entered the home and was in the house for like 5 hours before
Plus
the Ramsey
hours.
family even came
Yeah.
home from
Hmm.
their Christmas dinner. How
And then
creepy
and
of
then
a
stayed
feeling
throughout
is
the
that?
night. And then when she
Yes.
woke up at 5 a.m. for their early morning, was it a flight? They were supposed to do something with the other kids,
Yeah, they're supposed to
John
do
Benet's
something.
or John Ramsey's other kids. I
Right.
don't know if they were coming into town, whatever, but they were getting up early, and that's why she woke up early.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had to have known something. He had to have heard something. He could have literally been just a random person who
Ugh.
followed. And that's the crazy part. Like when you're thinking about it, you actually have to be super aware of everything and everyone at all times.
Um, if I'm gonna put this in just a small
Okay.
little brief thing
Just
of
add this.
being aware of your surroundings. I am so aware of my surroundings that I probably drive myself crazy sometimes. But like the
Absolutely,
other
you
day,
do.
we were driving home back roads. So like I was doing random roads, whatever, not any specific way to go home. And this van, like like a pervert van, a big
Oh,
white, like it looked
yes.
creepy as hell.
Yes.
Was
A painter's van, not a
yes.
pervert van, like an actual painter's van that doesn't have
Well, in
windows.
my head, there's perverts in them, okay?
Oh,
I
my dad told me the same thing too. He's like, never go to those
never
vans. So
parked by a
now I'm like,
van, nothing like that.
okay. I still
But
never
I
park by vans.
so much like they had followed me to our road even. And like we don't
Oh,
have Walmart in our town. So like they had been following for a while and like I
right.
said back roads, so random roads. Um so I drove past my
Your street?
actual my
Yeah.
actual road and did weird random circles. He ended up stopping at the gas station right there. So it was, most likely just a coincidence thing, but
Totally.
I was not going to my home and letting this person see where I was bringing my child. That's how crazy I am.
Yeah. So let's have some backup questions. Okay. Did you take your child out of the vehicle and put him in the vehicle, and that's why you were suspicious?
No, but
You
we
just saw a creepy van,
that
a
followed
father's, yes,
from the parking lot of Walmart though. So the doors were open because I do pick up.
yeah,
So I never had to get cash out of the car. I
yeah,
so they opened the doors, whatever. Never saw the van prior. So in my head, I was like, anyone can be watching, like you said earlier.
yes,
I'm like, no, not a comfy feeling because I noticed the van immediately, and then I was like in my head, like, is this like mother's intuition? Like, you know?
yeah. No, I could totally see that. I have never been that suspicious because I do live in a town and a city.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you've got
I think that
lots of
yeah. But I
there's
mean,
zero
I
risk
go down like three roads. That's it. That's all I got.
yeah. See, if it was on main roads, the thought
Yeah,
would have never come up.
right.
But the
It was
fact that
back
I took
roads.
random back road after back road,
But
then I
that's
was,
the thing. You have to imagine that someone else is thinking the same way you are. Well, I'm
oh
going to go
yeah,
here, 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 and that's probably the closest gas station, blah, 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 blah.
and it was.
But it was. It's just
Yeah.
coincidence, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I'm following people for too long on back roads, I'm like, maybe I should do a different turn because like maybe I'll go this way because they think I'm following
Do
them.
they think, do they think I'm going to kill them or
Right?
kidnap them
But
or
maybe I think
what?
that way because I think that way. I don't know.
No, you do. And you definitely drive yourself crazy. So,
But I am aware, had that been a fucking
and you're
murder.
still alive.
Exactly.
That's all that
So,
matters.
finger snaps for mom, okay?
Snaps to you, sister.
Tyler always says you're paranoid, and I'm like, am I paranoid or am I prepared?
Paranoid.
But now he's been watching some true crime things, and he's like, "Ooh, okay, I get it."
Yeah. Braden's like, I
Yeah, I'll
can't
come
watch
get
this
you.
shit with you.
I will say, I'm gonna point it out. There is a major trigger warning in the third episode of the JonBenét.
Yeah.
Tyler made me turn it off. I was only continuing to watch it because I needed it for this episode. Oh, I thought you were whining because you wanted out. Anyway, so we were in the middle of that disgusting fucker describing what he had done. And Tyler was like, Brittany, I can't
Yeah.
watch this. And I was like, I mean, I get it. So I ended up turning it off. And when I turned it back on, I fast forwarded it through that because I was like, I don't need those
You don't need
details.
those details. Yeah.
And I didn't need the details in the way he was fucking describing it either, as if it was
Wasn't he also cleared of DNA?
he was cleared of DNA, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He's just a pervert. And that's really sad.
Yeah, because he got
But
caught. Oh no, he's the one that was sending letters in. No.
mhm.
Yeah,
Yes,
he was sending
letters.
letters in. He was, yeah.
But he was also in trouble.
He had a shrine.